your balanced scorecard. How can you quickly grow a smarter relationship with your logical thinking system connected to that which our ancestors employed and unleashed on the earth? Because they developed a larger, smarter brain, a longer life, are full of happiness and health. What made them smarter and live longer? Here is the answer. It was via a physical, self-confident, I am that I am identity. Thanks to the I am that I am attitude of our friend East Africa, whose true thought of existence, life versus false thought of existence, death, inspired us to go deeper and check this issue out. Your balanced scorecard has been manipulated to be mesmerized on a number of sectors of life by the system that we find on the earth. PEST perspective. PEST standing for political, economic, socio-cultural, and technological perspective. We shall look at the S-curve of our race towards the end of this presentation. So stay with us, because that S-curve is very powerful as a communication and mental tool to discover where our race stands. The creation of money has been monopolized by the enslaver and colonizer. Therefore, money is the driver whip for political, economic, and socio-cultural conformity, away from that which gives us our own identity, that will connect us with our ancestors and their capabilities and abilities to discover various laws. Who are you? This identity crisis that we suffer from comes from a disconnect from an internalized positive mentality or thought of male existence first, the dismembering of males from the family unit, or disempowering the males from the family unit, is a tool and a powerful weapon that has been used, which then causes an externalized positive thought action of female existence. So our perception of the female becomes a disconnect within us. We have to go inside the female to create a child, but because of this imbalance that is already there, it means we are not balanced. We should be balanced identification and identity of male, female, and child. And this becomes balanced subatomic forces, or electronic equals proton equals atom, the beginning of logical thought for human civilization. This has been distorted and disturbed by the past perspective. Since the male is an externalized identification thought of existence, in other words, male member, electron H+, male initiates sexual advance to woman by mental self-confidence, I am. This means then he becomes an internalized identification thought of existence into the female uterus or proton. Female positions herself for the sexual advance of a male by physical self-confidence and saying, I am that I am, a creator, a mother, a goddess. All this explains the ancient African Egyptian Ankh symbol. I am that I am. So lastly, there should be a harmonious Maiwati balance or Ma'ati balance. Therefore, for a health balance principle of Ma'ati and the relationship between male and female, the male has to say and do things that keep the woman physically self-confident. A father or a male makes a daughter by positive physical projection of behavior, and the female says and does things that keep the man mentally self-confident. A mother makes a son by positive mental projection of behavior. So this is the status quo and the balanced scorecard that we have to fight. The normal logical thought for civilizing your relationship to the universe, which is all energy, as a complete African or human, is through always knowing that thought of existence equals thought of existence, equal thoughts of each other equals balanced action towards each other. True thoughts of oneself and the other equals orderly actions with each other. Correction of one's thinking and the others equals respect for self and the other. Moral thoughts of oneself and the other equals agreement with the self and with the other, which gives you a mathematical formula that teaches you and shows you that the beginning of mathematics and electronics was within the thinking and the software that operates within us. So if you are an African, you should have an African software that works inside you, because the African software comes from education, training, observation, repetition, and habit. So if your habit and your thinking is not African, even though you are black and you identify yourself as brown or melaninated or carbonized, you are not an African. Therefore, proper noun equals proper noun description, beginning of the language. Ba, ntu, mu, ntu, one, two, one, do. Existence and need equals existence, supply equals value equals currents equals the beginnings of proper economics. So we reverse the equation of how money is made by taking over the monopoly ourselves to make money. So what other steps can we take? All the logic above may easily be practiced by understanding Maat logic or Maarifa in Swahili, which allowed our ancestors in ancient Egypt to create a hydrogen fusion electric generator, which they placed in the Ark of the Covenant. Archangels seen on the Ark are actually the symbols of the goddess Maati, used by our ancestors to power a quantum computer teaching found in Dendera as internalized. The beginning of electronic age, the beginning of the software, the beginning of training and learning and electrical power, which is normally indicated as the jedi shown here, which is our spinal cord, as well as the snake and the balancing and cathode ray, usually depicted by the lightning that we see in the sky. So Maati was given to Africans right at the point of creation, depicted by the symbol of Maati and the symbol of the Ankh. So in 1922, in the Egyptian Valley of the Kings, the tomb of Tutankhamun was opened by Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon. Among the artifacts found was a processional ark. It was constructed of wood and gilded and stored within a sacred tomb containing sacred objects. It was carried by two staffs permanently inserted into the golden rings at its corners. This is what has been given as the Ark of the Covenant, which is our agreement. So the Ark that is found within Hebraism, within Judaism, within Christianity, ours. They copied it from ancient Egypt. Nowhere else. So the Ark is a word adopted from the Egyptian. A chest. It is not an original artifact made by Moses. Moses learned it from ancient Egypt. So what else can you do? You should learn Maati and do Maati. These are some of the laws of Maati. Thou shalt not wrong the people, nor bear them many evil intent. Thou shalt not steal, nor take that which does not belong to you. Thou shalt not deprive anyone of what is rightfully theirs. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. Thou shalt not do no less than your daily obligation require. So how do you do this? How can you apply this? By becoming a member of and help building the civilization of Hamiti again. That's the last civilization that we have. We have to understand the Ankh, circumnavigate the whole earth, where we find all our people, and these are the angels of the Ark of the Covenant, and this is the Eye of Horesu, and it is the way, the truth, and the light that revives us, the laws of Maat. So you should also reconnect your thinking to the ancient scripts. The other step to grow quickly a smarter relationship with your logical thinking system connected to that which our ancestors employed and unleashed on the earth comes through relearning the language script, which was the center and foundation of our awesome civilization. We lost it when the mulatto sellouts within us in Ethiopia and Kush in the 1800s and 1880 gave the little information they had away to the British and the French, who then went further to discover the laws and rules of electricity and production of electricity. But being them, they couldn't understand Maati thinking. Therefore, there is a bigger gap that is still missing. Before this, we collapsed as a species into unconsciousness, wishful thinking, dreams, and beginning from then. The Greeks banned our hieroglyphics in 335 for Common Era. It is our education that the Hebrews and the Jews were after, and our logic that we use to form the civilization from scratch. We have to start from scratch, because in 1998, a German archaeological team had uncovered the tomb UJ of the pre-dynastic ruler called Scorpion Odenda, and they recovered 300 clay tablets inscribed with the proto-hieroglyphics, which looks like that. So when we start hieroglyphics, we are at the fulcrum, at the center of coming into the future and going into the past. Therefore, that's why we are saying reconnect your thinking to the ancient scripts, because by doing that, you connect with our ancestors. This is the life cycle that I was very hesitant to share with you, because it is very telling and very graphic. So our race began from infinity and started to grow just following the S-curve of business life cycle of or product or service life cycle. And so we grew up and got to our peaks, where we were able to produce smart technologies in flying, cars, guns, nuclear weapons. We were able to do that thousands or millions of years ago. And then our peak started to decline, but re-innovation, introducing new understanding methods and sticking and being inventive, we grew up again, and then it went down, and then came the period of the building of the pyramids, the Sphinx, and many other artifacts that we see today. And then the Persian and Greek and Roman and Arab invasion has come, and then we are on the decline phase. This is where we are. So our laws follows the natural laws of decline and rising up. So we are on the decline phase now. What we need to do is to raise it up, sustain the momentum through adaptation of what is there today and adopting it and taking over and innovating and inducing self-growth. Then we can always avoid obsolescence. In other words, if we refuse to change, or if we continue in the systems that are causing our decline, we are going into obsolescence and we are going to vanish. We cannot continue in our stagnation state and chase tactics that create dissonance, because that doesn't do anything. So what we need to do, what we can do, so that we must quickly grow a smarter relationship with our logical thinking system and immediately reconnect to ancestral ones which they employed to unleash great kingdoms like ancient Kemet, ancient Aksum, ancient Kush. How do we do that? By unity, uniting and working together, observing and living Mahat, mastering hieroglyphics and ancient scripts, supporting African groups that fosters identity to ancient African ancestry, thinking, studying, observation, fasting, writing, and investing wise, being innovative within our race, and removing ourselves from religions like Christianity, Judaism, Islam that propels a mental approach or a mental thinking that denigrates your identity. This is what we can do and more, but this is the fulcrum and the center of what we can do to sustain ourselves. So, Community Hebrew Ethics propagating the real potential to recreate power to rulership and perfect time recapturing. So, join our Community Hebrew Ethics, where our mission is to teach ancient revealed applied knowledge which enables any black person to achieve any noble goals that we have set. Please Charaba LM Dumizulu. Our email is lmdumizulu@gmail.com. Thank you. Tatenda Siabonga. Salani Kashe. Goodbye.